Hello, good evening. Good evening, gentlemen, and good evening to everyone watching us. I'm Tunde Adelakun, and this is the special Africa in Qatar episode number 5, actually, talking about the African performance in the World Cup in Qatar 2022. And I'm smiling, and I'm sure that my guests are smiling as well. But before I give you over to my guests, I want to introduce the program to you properly. The program is Africa in Qatar. It is presented and developed by AFSCON. AFSCON is the African Football Scouts and Coaches Association, an association set up to give identity, credibility, and respect to high-level scouting and coaching in Africa by Africans. Our intention, our determination is to ensure that we see Africans actually take charge of our game in Africa because we know ourselves better. Scouting and coaching should be something that we should be able to do ourselves, not only limited to Africa, we can also do it outside, but let people know us for what we really are. It's enough now to be thinking that because you're a former player, that's the only reason that you can come and become a scout or a coach. There's so many people out there in Africa, you included, watching me right now. You can also be a scout, you can be a coach. How do you do it? Join AFSCON. How do you join AFSCON? Just send your details to join at AFSCOAN. That is join at AFSCON.com. Follow us on Twitter at AFSCON and go onto our website, subscribe to our channel here, and you'll know a lot more about us. Enough about us for now. We just come off a very interesting, and the story seems to have changed all of a sudden. Last week, when we started this program, it was all doom and gloom. I've got someone that I've got to first of all introduce. He just joined us. He's proud. He's driving his car. I think he's driving back from the stadium. Who knows? Farid, how do you feel at this moment?
Yes, hello everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you feeling? How are your thoughts
Yes,
right
yes. So it's amazing what's happening today.
What is the mood like among Moroccans? First time of
Yes.
since 1986.
Yes. So there's a lot of people that has never known this qualification. So it's quite new, and obviously today in Morocco, it's raining. I mean, in Morocco, we were waiting for the rain since April, and our country is really linked to agriculture. So if there's no rain, there's no agriculture, and the economy is really down. So today we have two good news: we have the rain, and we have the victory. So everybody is happy. Everybody is happy.
It hardly ever rains in Morocco. I know that for a fact. And the fact that it's chosen a special day like this to rain means that better things might still be coming. Who knows? I've also got with me Moron Divine, who is a top journalist from Cameroon. Moron, how do you sum up the feelings so far from the African representation so far in the World Cup?
Yeah, hello everyone, and I hope we are pulling on good. It's a pleasure being with you today to talk about African football and their performance in the World Cup. I think I have a feeling of joy today. I'm very, very happy. Seeing Morocco, whom we had rated as one of the best in Africa before going into this World Cup, from their discipline of the friendly games which they played, we had rated them as one of the best in Africa going into the World Cup, and they have actually proven to Africa that they were really one of the best going into the World Cup. I feel very, very proud today about Africa. It's not only about Cameroon, it's not only about Ghana, it's not only about Tunisia, it's not only about Senegal, but it's about Africa. It's about what Africa can do. It's about the potentiality of Africa, what they can prove and what they can show Africa is capable of doing. I think it's a feeling of a lot of joy today, seeing Morocco finishing not second in their pool, but finishing as first in their pool. That is a great achievement.
And it's an even greater achievement when you think about it, Niran, that not only did they finish first in their group, but also the fact that Morocco was in a tough group. I was at the World Cup draw in Qatar in April, and I saw when the balls were coming out, and Morocco was there in the same group as Croatia, as Belgium, okay, and Canada. And I'm like, okay, what sort of luck would you call this? But Morocco, not only did they, in fact, for some time, they were pretty much one of the very few teams that had not conceded a goal. And still, I can say they didn't concede a goal to the opponent because the only goal they considered, they scored it themselves. Yeah.
It was a great performance in all the group games in Morocco. They, as I said, they defended well, and after the first game, they began to be more expansive in their attacking play, and started creating chances, and they were able to get goals, which at the end of the day was what pushed them over the line. In terms of the group being difficult, I don't think it's the hardest group in the world. I'm not taking any credit for Morocco, but I don't think it's the hardest group in the world because I think many people falsely gave Belgium. I think Belgium, their FIFA ranking is falsely exact. I don't know. It's a false ranking because it's over 4 years. But Belgium in the last few years, all those players, Hazard, Vertonghen, Vermaelen and co, they are all over 33, 30. They are in the twilight of their career, and they don't look like those players that will last long, like Ronaldo and Messi. They are already aging. Hazard is never the same Hazard no one's new. So Belgium is not the same Belgium. When Lukaku is out of form, he's never that old. So Belgium is not the Belgium that once knew of 2 years ago, of 2014, that got to semifinals. They are not that good anymore. And Croatia as well. We spoke about this in the first show that they are also on aging side. And so, but Morocco has done very well to top that group. And hopefully they. I don't want to face Germany because if Germany was to win tonight, Germany will be second in that group. So I don't want that to happen. I want maybe them to have an easier opponent.
I mean, we'll come back to Morocco in a minute, but we also want to talk about what almost happened. If Tunisia had taken one of those chances, I'm coming to you, Max, but not now. Just be there, keep smiling, and I'm going back tomorrow. If Tunisia had taken one of those chances against Denmark, if Tunisia had been less careless against Australia, we'll be singing a different tune now, don't you think?
Yes, that's true. We'll be singing a different tune now, and I think Cameroon finds themselves in the same mess as Tunisia. The World Cup is a high-level competition, and every game in the World Cup is a top game. There is no game in the World Cup which is a friendly game. All games in the World Cup are top games. And when you have your opportunity, you seize the opportunity and you make use of the opportunity. I think Tunisia came into the World Cup maybe still thinking they were still playing some friendly games where they were supposed to mess about. They were supposed, to take things for granted. You see where they find themselves and they could not qualify. Imagine they took one of those chances. I think they would have been in the same spot as Senegal or Morocco today. You see, they finished second with 4 points, but could not qualify. Why? Because they had their chances in the first game, in the second game. And I don't know, maybe they thought they were still into some friendly games. As I can say, Cameroon too was thinking they are still into some friendly games. And now they are finding themselves in the same situation. So I think it is a lesson African nations are supposed to learn. At high-level competitions, we don't joke at high-level competitions. And what is an irony in all of this is most of those players, if not even all of them, play professional football in Europe and America. So it becomes very funny when they reach at such a top-level games and they cannot really take the chances which they have. They take it and they joke with it. So we can only say sorry, and we can only hope next time when they find themselves in such situation. Next World Cup, we are going to be 9. Africa is going to have nine places, 9 slots. We hope they are going to come back again next time, and they are going to correct the mistakes which they have made this time around.
Right, thank you. Now, Senegal. Max, you were opposite. I was in contact with you all the way through the game. You were nervous. Your heart was beating. I could actually feel your heartbeat from the phone in my hand because you were really nervous about this game. You were scared. You didn't know what was going to happen. But something told me that Senegal was going to crack it. It was against Ecuador. Ecuador is a very strong team, but Senegal proved stronger. Some of your feelings, some of the sentiments of the people of Senegal at the moment.
Well, listen, I was on my way to Dubai when Senegal was playing. There was a moment that you tell me you use the word that for the equalizer, like Ecuador score. I was just feel like to run to the pilot and ask him to finish the flight, like take the flight from him. And no one will like. But thanks very much for yeah, Senegal make it. I think Senegal opened the door to the hopefully Ghana will follow tomorrow and Cameroon. Sorry for Tunisia, like I was saying last time that Tunisia must level up their games and then try to get their players to play in the international clubs or Europe somewhere. But what I try to say is like football now is not about names. I think our mental coaches have to focus on that to explain our African players that football is not in names now. It doesn't matter any name. Like you can play with Brazil, you can play with France, Belgium, and you can still make it because those players are playing in the same clubs now. So we have to change the way of telling our players that football is now focus, determination, and go and take the victory. So Senegal we are all proud and we're happy for Africa. I think we're gonna push hard and go to the next 16 and then make it to the quarterfinal. Why not? I think this World Cup in Qatar is for Africa.
Right. That's a very bold statement. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. Now, listen, Niran, I'm coming back to you because, you know, I look at the teams, the teams that are in the Africa Cup, in the World Cup at the moment, are 5 nations, and all 5 nations have been coached by Africans. You and me both. In addition to Farid and Max so far, and Murung is a newbie, a new entrant, but all of us are members of the African Football Scouts and Coaches Association, an association that has been set up just so that we can bring credibility and respect to the job of coaches in Africa. And we're seeing Africans doing us proud. African coaches have gone to the World Cup in Qatar. How much of the success that we're now calling the success of Africa, how much of it, Niran, is down to the coaches and the trust that the federations have placed in these local coaches that have made us blossom this way?
Yes, I think the African coaches have done a lot during this World Cup. And you see, as you say, all the 5 of the nationalities, that is the different nationalities that have qualified for the World Cup. I can say most of them have been in top level football, a part of our coach, to be sincere, let's be sincere with that, a part of our coach, that is Rigobert Song-Bahana, who has not really been in top level football. But if you take the Ghanaian coach, you take the Moroccan coach, you take Aliou Cissé, and you take the Tunisian coach, all of them have been in top level football. It means they have tested what high level football profile is all about. They have gone through it. They have coached clubs at top levels, And you see, it has given them that experience, that know-how on what to do with a team and how to face top-level competitions. And I think that is one of the things which has been very, very helpful to most of our teams. If you see the coach of Ghana, Adu, you look at his assistants, his assistant coach, those are coaches that have been at the top level of football in the world, not in Africa, but in the world. And you see the results which they are taking, which they are bringing out. You take Morocco, is same. You see what the coach is doing with the team. You see the mental discipline the coach is bringing with the team. You see that that is what is needed for the high level and top level football. It's something which we need to encourage our coaches, our African coaches, not only to compete in Africa, but also, like I see Kolo Toure today, it is something which is excellent and I'm very, very happy for that. If I see Kolo Toure in the next 2-3 years taking up Ivory Coast, it's going to be something great because already he would have gained and mastered some level of top level football and top level management, because those players are playing at top level. They play in Premier League, they play in Premiership, they play in First Division in the different countries, which is a top level. And so you also need a coach who has understood what that top level football is all about to be capable of managing these players, because managing those players is not only on the field. It doesn't end on the field. It also comes up to their attitude in camp. It also comes to their way of living in camp with the other players, those relationships, all of that counts. So if you don't have coaches who are able to manage that level of football, everything becomes a mediocrity and our football becomes a mediocrity.
Niran, how much of it is down to the respect and confidence that the federations can place in these local coaches to ask them to go and get the result and trust them that they will?
The first thing is trust.
Niran.
Okay, thank you. I think Murum and Nero maybe sound kind of sounds alike.
They sound alike. Yeah.
That is it. It sounds the name sounds okay. Sorry for that. I thought it was Murum.
No problem.
No, it's fine. I think it's a good one. It's a good one. It was the first time ever that we had it, and hopefully you can get a third African team in the round of 16, which will be the most amount of African team in the knockout stage since the World Cup started. So if you can make that three teams in the round of 16, it will show that the African coaches are no lesser than the European coaches or the white coaches that come around. That's what it will show, first of all. And in terms of the confidence given, I think it's a very good one. It's a very good call because in the past we've seen where the African coach qualified for the World Cup and then he gets replaced with a white coach. It happened in Nigeria twice and some other countries. So for the fact that they've allowed those coaches to manage their team, qualify for the World Cup, and go ahead and coach their team in the World Cup shows that yes, that they believe in the African coaches is increasing, and it's a welcome one. It's a very welcome one. And as Murum said, we want also to see those because in a way we cannot blame many of the administrators for wanting to employ white coaches. But the problem is when they employ white coaches that are not standard. Because the truth is, many of our African coaches, as Murum said, they are not exposed at that highest level of European football. Because we know the highest level of European football is in Europe, in the England, the France, the Spain, the Germany, and co. And we don't have many of our coaches in those places. So we need those coaches there at that highest level so that it will be easy for them to transition into the national teams and coach these players who are also playing at the highest level. As Murum said, that's why the Kolo Toure news is a very, very, very welcome one, and hopefully you'll more to follow. I know Yaya Toure as well. His brother is at Tottenham Hotspur coaching the under-20s or something like under-23s or under-something. I don't know which one. So we're looking for more of those to happen in the game, so that we can have a wide variety of coaches, African coaches at the big level, European level, learning their trade there, and then becoming top coaches. So when they come and take Africa, it will not be, there won't be any doubt about their ability.
Okay. Yeah, we were going to come to the Kolo Toure story later and much later. But I wanted to actually delve into the area of what the successes so far, what we have done. I'm going back to Farid now. Farid, you're in Morocco, and you are very keenly involved, very strongly involved in the football in Morocco. Now, a lot of sub-Saharan Africa, south of the Sahara, we talk about need for coaches to play at the highest level, need for our players to play at the highest level before we can get the success. One of the successes of Morocco, though, is in the local league in Morocco. The local league in Morocco in itself is a test, is a success. How much of that? Yes, we know that at the end of the day, we see that a lot of the players from Morocco are still playing at the highest level, the Ashraf Hakimis, the Hakim Ziyech, and all that. But we cannot rule out the importance of a good, solid local league in the nation. How do you feel about that, Farid?
Yes, it's right. It's a question of conscience. In Morocco, the government took the decision that football has a big impact for social and for young people. So in the government, the Ministry of Sport and the Ministry of Youth, they are really involved in the development of football. So it has been developed by making the clubs more professional. You know, all the clubs was association. And now, this year in 2022, the government obliged all the first and second league teams and clubs to become companies with the statutes, with the P&L and the organization and everything that is involved in a company. So as you making a club coming from association to company, so you have to be more productive and you need to focus on the results. So the government is also helping the clubs by supporting them, by giving them budget, giving them tools like bus and coaches for transport, and also money to develop, to pay the employees, to pay the salaries. The king of Morocco is also giving to the people, to the club, is giving them fields where they can build facilities. For example, I took the example of Raja de Casablanca and also Wydad de Casablanca. So they both have facilities, new facilities in the south of Casablanca, where they are building, and they have both built their new youth school and how we say that, the school and formation training center for the young people and also for the first team. So that means what? If we want to develop football, politics have to be involved in the good way. I mean, putting in their budget, in the annual budget, they have to be and to put money for the football development. That's the first thing. The second thing is on training. So in Morocco also, all the coaches has been trained and they are more and more participating to all of the international training and get all the necessary diplomas to be considered as professional coaches. We have less and less coaches that have no standard, that just coming from scratch. So you have the infrastructure, you have money, you have people skilled. So all these mix make a professional league high, elevating his level. So that's an important point. So the clubs are becoming more professional and more serious. And also now there is more and more focus on the youth. So my son is playing in the Raja Casablanca. He's 11 years old. And we saw that they are bringing professional people and professional coaches to train them. So the level is getting high from the beginning, from the young people. And I think that this is the factors of success for this federation and for the league in Morocco.
And obviously, guys, this is one of the things that we talk about, especially on the AFCON front in the Africa Football Scouts and Coaches Association, where we want to see more coaches, more African coaches. And the only way we can do it, obviously, is that at all level of the games, at every level of the game in our respective countries, if there are coaches, a dearth of coaches, an abundance of coaches, so much so that if one has to leave the national team, we can quickly call on another to come and be the national team coach. There will be a seamless transition between under 17 coach, under 20 coach, under 23 coach to the national coach. So this is a very, very good blueprint that our countries should be able to adopt. And it's a fantastic success story. I don't know where this success is going to end. It was very disappointing in Cameroon when they played in the Africa Cup of Nations. In the last two editions of the AFCON, actually, they were very disappointing, Morocco. They've come on strong. They did well in the African Nations Championships, the CHAN, showing up, during the CHAN as champions in 2018. 2018 it was, and they've done well so far. They can be better, and we'll tackle how much better they can be, especially with local talent coaches. Max, the blueprint in Senegal is a little bit different. What would you attribute it to? Because obviously, the league in Senegal is not at the same level as that in Morocco, but we have got a coach, Aliou Cissé, who is standing firm and holding firm the name of AFCON in the whole of Senegal. But what is going on? What happens so that what Nira said earlier on about Belgium phasing out because they were getting older, Croatia getting aging because they're getting older, so that we don't have the same when Koulibaly goes, when Idrissa Ganagay goes, when Mendy goes, and all those ones, Koulibaly. Now, let me remind people, before we go on, Max Fowl here, who is talking to me, is not just a member of AFCON. Max is also the Chief Executive Officer of Future Lions of Senegal. He grooms, he mentors and nurtures younger Senegalese players from all over the world. He's in London today, he's in Dubai tomorrow, he's in Dakar the next day. I can't keep up with the guy. Even I can't keep up with him. And so he has an idea, a very strong idea. One of the guys that he actually brought up is the one who was called to replace Sadio Mane the moment we realized that Sadio was not going to make the World Cup. He brought him up. He's one of his proteges. So the narrative is a little bit different in Senegal, but how different is it? And how can we sustain this level of success? It's been a wonderful year for Senegalese football. Absolutely wonderful. At the beginning of the year, winning the Africa Cup, towards the end of the year, second round of the World Cup, and who knows how far they're going to go. We're going to come to that later on. But first tell me, where does this success story, where did it start from? What is the secret?
Yeah, listen, like what Ferry said, Senegal, what they have done is they start, this is privately, which is it's supposed to be politically, but it's not the way like the Moroccan government, the king of Ghana, of Cameroon, Morocco does. What Senegal do is people like you or me or the Senegalese, they went and opened a lot of academies in Senegal, which is where we start to train the youth, but mentally, like to tell them what to do, to tell them what to achieve. And so what Aliou Cissé, the coach of Senegal, bring on the table. Remember, in 2002, Senegal was very good teams, managed to go all the way to quarterfinals. But what we learned from that 2002 was the Senegalese were not like a family. They were just going in the euphoria. They were just going in the winning part, and it was a very brand new experiences. So Ali Cisse, which was the part of that team, learned a lot from 2002 to 2015 or 16 when he get the team. So Ali Cisse, what he do is like he take the young players, he called the young players and put them together as a family, and then talk to them mentally inside in their head how to win a game, how to play in the big competition, and then how to motivate them. For example, our last game, what was the motivation is Ali Cisse bring Sadio Mane as a motivation, also bring Papa Buba Job as a motivation, and this make the boy succeed. But in the other hand, there is something we call sports science. Sports science, of course, Europeans have their way of learning sports science, but Africa also, we have our way of sports science. So what that means is, this is kind of secret that I try to bring in here in the life. Senegal are teaching our young youth a science of way of our idea, like the way we play football, like the way African play football. We're not copying the way Europeans playing. For example, I give European might play 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. Those are the tactic of football that the European teach us. But as an African, we have our way of doing also science, our way of attacking. It's not just they're calling us lions or eagle or tiger, just like that. Because we have the source in Africa. So we use the technique of what is the attack of lions, what is the attack of eagle, what is the attack of tiger. So we use that science and teach that our coaches, so that is that our coaches are giving to our kids. That's why you see this anger, that's why you see this motivation and courageous in our kids. But like I said, I hope Senegal will copy Morocco, will copy, of course, the king, and try to bring more money. Of course, they're doing their best, because Senegal now, what we're seeing is like there is no any problem in the national team, but we want our government to engage more and bring more on the table, so the League of Senegal will be doing best. But to conclude, is like the academy are doing very, very, very good job in Senegal and using our own source, our own technique, our own civilization of football. That's why we are here. Remember, to quick close, I speak to one big Brazilian coach. I asked him a question: how did you manage to lead this world of football? He said, we get it from you. I said, how? He said, we all know dance came from Africa. So we use samba, rimba. He told me so many names. We use that dance and we play football with that. And we get that one from Africa, which means you have to use your own culture to play football, so then you can surprise the world.
Now, interesting question. Thank you very much, Max, for that. Niran is very passionate Nigerian follower, football fan, in addition to being a member of AFCON, and my very able director of the show, I have to say. Thank you very much for putting this work together. And I'm going to ask you this. I've got in the studio with us, just you and me are the odd ones out. Max represents the Tanga Lions, and they're doing very well. What represents the Atlas Lions, and they're doing very well. Moro represents the Indomitable Lions, and they're doing very well. But there's something very common about them. They're lions, they're fighters, they're real fighters. Do you think Nigeria should change to Super Lions instead of Super Eagles?
No. I think our nickname fits us quite well. How does it do with names? Hopefully, we can get things right before Canada, Mexico, and US 2026. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. Now, listen, I'm going to come back down to Murum later on, but I need to ask, Farid, we've got an issue here. Later today, we're watching Costa Rica against Germany. We're watching Spain against Japan. And you're going to be watching that game really keenly. I'm watching it keenly because I want to go to Qatar in the next couple of days and I want to watch African football. And if no African team qualifies for the quarterfinals, I won't watch an African team. And that would be really sad for me. Now, who would you prefer to have as Morocco, Japan or Germany?
That's a good question, President. Yes. Honestly speaking, today the question is difficult, but Moroccan in their profile, in the way of playing, maybe Germany is better for them. Why? Japan is a new coming countries with good skills, with low profile players, and with really skilled players. Germany, they have their way of playing, which is really physical. And I think that Morocco can handle this physical game like they handle it with Croatia. So our preference will go for Germany. And we want obviously to avoid Spain because Spain, we are afraid that they can make a good World Cup. So we prefer to go with Germany.
Do we have the technical know-how in our teams? For example, in Morocco, in Senegal, in Cameroon. One of the areas that when we started the AFCON, we discovered something. We were supposed to be the African Football Coaches Association. And then we realized that Africa don't really do scouting that much. They rely a lot on our own ability, but we don't do opposition scouting as much as we should do. I remember being as the assistant coach and the chief scout of the Nigerian national team early on, even going to Russia for the World Cup. When we got to Russia for the World Cup, and this is very confidential, well, it's no longer confidential because I'm saying it to everybody here. And we put the program together saying that we wanted to go and scout and watch Croatia and send people to go and watch, which other teams did we play? Iceland and Argentina and all that. And we wanted to get as much information through scouting. And we were challenged by the powers that be in Nigerian football. What are you scouting? Rely on your players. There's nothing to scout. Just play your game. So now we can see that scouting is becoming very important. You cannot win games without scouting properly. Does Morocco have that knowledge, that awareness of the importance of scouting, so that even if whether it's Germany or Japan, we've got people in place and the software in place that we can actually knock them down and break them down and be able to win matches, not because we're better than them by profile, Bayern Munich, here and there, but because we've got them where we want them. Farid.
Yes, Mr. President. Yes, we have it. We do have it. In Morocco, if I take the example of Mohamed VI Academy, what they are doing, so they are completely linked to all of the small academies in Morocco. So they are scouting in these academies and trying to get the best players the soonest, not waiting until someone from abroad taking these players. They are taking it from young. I always take the example of my children. My young guy is 11, is now playing in Raja. There are already some people that are in contact with us and say, okay, maybe your young guy, he might go to the academy from now. And I say, no, let's wait until 13 or 14. But that means what? That means that from the beginning and from the younger age, this scouting is made. Last time I was just asking for Qatar, some people were asking me some players for Qatar. Because what? Why? It is also confidential to share with you. But Qatar, they are already preparing the next World Cup. So what they are asking me? They were asking me young Moroccan players that has between 15 and 17 years old that are able to go to Qatar for the Aspire Academy, and then to have the ability to change their nationality to become Qatari in 2026. So that means that this counting is getting more and more professional in Morocco. So with that, I can say yes. Now we are able to compete with Germany, not one by one, but as a team.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Morum, you've been left out of the conversation for a little bit, and there's a reason for it. Let me remind us that your comments on this program are very, very welcome. I would like people to drop their comments. Let us know what you think about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and what we're achieving from it, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. I hope my face is not what you want to see less of. Hopefully not. But in the meantime, we will also want you to subscribe to that channel, the African AFCON AFC YouTube channel, which is the channel of the African Football Scouts and Coaches Association. The association that has been set up for the sole reason of giving an identity, respect, and credibility to the job of scouts and coaches in Africa. To join AFCON, send an email just with your details to join@afcon.com. If you're an aspiring scout and a certified scout or a coach of any sort, and you want to be identified with the African game on this coaching platform, this is where you can be. We're growing. By the day, we are over 600 members at the moment, but I think that by the time we finish the World Cup, we should be growing to even more numbers. Now, I've got to ask you, Moron, because we've talked about what has happened so far. What we want to talk about in the next few minutes is what we think is going to happen. Tomorrow, Cameroon has got a mammoth game against Brazil. It's Africa v South America on two fronts. Ghana have got to play Uruguay. But let's start with the Cameroon, the indomitable lions of Cameroon. Controversy never ceases from African football. I don't understand why. I mean, the last time players were pulling up and saying they were not going to go to training because their bonuses were not paid, allowances are not paid, what, and all that. And this time, it was a player, a goalkeeper, Andre Onana, has been sent packing from the World Cup because of indiscipline issues and all that stuff. Does that not derail the whole team spirit in Cameroon? For them to be able to fight back, to play 3-3 against Serbia was absolutely wonderful. The other thing I'm looking at, Moron, and I'm going to give you the floor so you can talk, but let me vent, because I'm really angry, because I'm wondering, you've got Eric Choupo-Moting, and you've got a team that is solid. You've got a midfield that has, at the very least, that has Zambo Anguissa there, holding role, and you've got solid players at the back four, whatever. And then you've got Faye Collins on the right and the other guy on the left. It's an absolutely talented squad. And you were playing against Serbia. And you're playing against Serbia with one major striker, and you left the other one quick, intelligent, experienced, on the bench. This guy drops his shoulder, runs between defenders, and he kills them. And he did it twice, and he got 2 goals. Why didn't you start him? So now we're playing catch-up. We're playing serious catch-up that, what if, but what if, why are we always doing the what ifs in Cameroon, in Nigeria, in mostly sub-Saharan Africa, apart from Senegal at this moment? I have to say that. Proudly I say that. What is going on? Why have we found ourselves as Cameroon in this position at this time?
Mr. President, I'll tell you Cameroon issue dates a long time back, since after the 1990 World Cup, where we had the performance. We have been living in the dreams, and we have not been living in the reality. Since after the 1990 World Cup, when we started having mess in our national team, I'll put it that way. Bringing in Harry Michel when we're going to the USA, we had a lot of disorder in the team. Coming up right to 2002, where we had a mess. In 2010, we have had the series of these problems in the national team. And even when Etofis was a player, if you remember, when Etofis was a player, while Cameroon going to the 2010 World Cup, he refused to take the national flag from the minister. And it is another player who had to collect the flag from the minister when they brought in Paul Le Guen, who came in, one of the coaches who actually finished destroying our national team. I'm sorry to say that, but that is the blatant truth, because he was one of the coaches that instilled a lot of disorder in the team, because when he came, he was an idol worshipper of Samuel Etofis, and so he permitted Etofis to do whatever he wanted with the national team. So we have come back to 2022 today, World Cup, and we see Onana coming up with some indisciplined attitude. And that is what I was talking of, having high-level coaches who have coached high-level football. I don't think Onana can do that to a coach, for example, a coach coming from AC Milan or a coach coming from of Watford. You see, a coach coming from Europe. I don't think Onana is going to do that to the coach, because what happened is people are turning around the bush saying this and saying that, but what actually happened was the fact that Onana challenged the coach in the presence of the other players, and that is where the whole problem in the team began. And you see, finally, Rigobert Song had to keep Onana aside, because he thought it was something which, if he doesn't do it, is going to bring more disorder into the team. And you see, coming back to the issue of why are we always you see, crying and saying we are always going to the if equation. If this happens, if this doesn't happen, the level of coaching is also very, very important. And you talked of scouting, which is very, very important. I think the Europeans take their time to watch African football, to see how Africans play, to know their speed, to know their dribbling capacity, to know their attacking capacity, to know their defending capacity. The Europeans take their time to study and to know all of these things. But we, Africa, we rely on our players, as you have said. We know all our players can do it. I think if our coaches, and it is funny because we have all the video analysts who are being paid in the various teams, and I don't know their duty in the various teams, because if our coaches take time to watch this game, for example, I take the Cameroon game, if we took the first game we played against Swiss, we would have seen that attack-wise, we were very, very lacking, because Choupo-Moting was isolated at the front, and he always came back deep in the midfield to get balls, and he could do something with the balls. And we have Abubakar, who has the ability, who has the capability, of running in between defenders, and playing two with Choupo-Moting puts a lot of pressure on the defense. You see, Abubakar could perform well because he had Choupo-Moting by his side, and the defenders of the Serbian team, they know that Choupo-Moting is a danger. But now they have also Abubakar, so you see they become confused. And you see, after the 2 goals, they were forced to bring back one midfielder to come back to the defense, which gave Cameroon a lot of breath at the midfield. It's the same thing with the first game. You see, the coach pulled out Choupo-Moting to bring in Abubakar. Abubakar could not do anything because the same, he was alone. So there was nothing he could do. So you see, in the second half, when Abubakar and Choupo-Moting came in, he gave an attacking force to the national to our team. And in one of the platforms which I was giving a comment on the game, after the first game, I kept on saying, I wish our coach could use Abubakar and Choupo-Moting at the same time. And I think it's a problem which we, the Africans and African coaches, used to have, especially those who have not coached at high level. They don't have the capability of reading a game and knowing what to do at what particular time. If you see the second game against the Sep, apart of Abubakar, who came in and brought a lot of difference in the game. We had no difference in our game when the other people came in. You have somebody like Kunde Malong, who was actually performant in the game, and he was taken out to bring in another midfielder who was not performant. So you see, that is the problem which our coaches who have not coached at high level, they have, and that is something which we as Africans need to start looking into, because if we would have scouted and know how the Serbians play, we just know the names, we know, oh, this person is this person is, but did the coach really take time to see how to block the games of the Serbian? And you see, Cameroon has been receiving same goals at all times, caused by the defensive midfield, which doesn't fall back to cover the defense. The midfield, the player is always alone and has all his time. You see, it is God who actually blessed us. In the first half, you see a clear, clean shot where the player was alone and he could not score, he put it outside. So really, it is something which we need to develop in our football. Is becoming very, very scientific. It is no more, I can say, it is no more manual. It's no more mechanical, where we used to tell players to run around the field 23 times, and then you see we make 2 camps, and then we go into the field, and the coach makes his lineup and send into the field. The football is becoming very, very scientific. We need to study the opponent, know how the opponent plays. For example, we might be lucky against Brazil. I want to put it that way. We might be lucky against Brazil because maybe Brazil might be resting the Vicinius, the big names we know about, because they already qualified, same as France did. You see, France was resting their players, and that is why Tunisia could actually have a turnaround. So we might be lucky against Brazil, but our coaches need to study the play style of Brazilians and know how to counteract. And this time around, I believe the coach is going to start up with Chupu and Abubakar at the same time, and is going to put Zambo behind them to make Zambo to be in his full capacity, because that is another problem. We use players at certain positions which doesn't give them that capability to be at their full capacity. We put them at areas where they are supposed to be struggling, or to be fighting with the ball, and they are not at their full capacity. So in that terms, I think it is something which we as Africans need to work on, and then we need to always study the opponent and know how the opponent plays and know how to counteract the opponent. I think that is what I can say concerning the game. For the Morocco game, I just want to chip in that before I end. For the Morocco game, I would prefer Japan more than Germany. Why do I say so? Take note, the Europeans, they increase in intensity as the competition increases. The same Germany you are seeing in the group stage is not the Germany you see at the 16 finals. But the same Japan you see at the group stage is the same Japan you see at the 16 finals. So I would prefer a more lesser team than Germany, because Germany, if they go through, you're going to see their intensity is going to increase more than Japan. So I'm going to end up with that. For me, I would prefer Japan for Morocco, because Morocco has shown not mental strength, but Morocco has shown, and I want to congratulate them for that.
Thank you, Muram. I mean, just to back your point up, I was thinking as well the same thing. I was thinking that when you talk about Chupo and Vincent Abubakar, I would love to see those two play on the shoulder of Thiago Silva and Marquinhos. They'll kill them. They'll kill them. At least going forward, they'll finish them. Thiago Silva is a legend already. He's only played 2 seasons for my club, my boyhood club, Chelsea Football Club, and I love him to bits. But playing for Brazil that I love as well, I think if you're going to kill them, you're going to need to play off the shoulder of these 2 slow defenders. But let us see. Muram, in one sentence, because we're running out of time, do you see Cameroon in the round of 16? By tomorrow?
As a patriotic Cameroonian, I have to say I believe seeing Cameroon in the round of 16, but it's going to be a very, very tough game, as I've said. If Brazil gives us the chance, which France gave to Tunisia, I think we're going to go to the round of 16, because Serbia, let's put it this way, Serbia also know they are not out of the competition. Serbia know beating Swiss, they can qualify because they are certain Brazil is going to beat Cameroon. So they are going to want to take their chance also to beat Swiss in order that they try to be, qualify for the round of 16. So, but if Brazil gives us the opportunity, which France gave to Tunisia, I think we'll find ourselves in the round of 16.
Okay. Niran, not Murun. Niran from Nigeria. Now you're the odd one out because your country is not in the World Cup. Sorry. And you were put out by a country that now holds the hope of Africa to be the third country to qualify from Africa into the round of 16. This is Ghana. Now, I don't know how much of what happened in 2010 that you know and you remember. Tomorrow's game is a vengeance mission. It's a day that Black Stars must add lions to their name and become Black Lion Stars. Because really and truly, they've got to go for broke against Uruguay. But what I'm saying is, with the might, the prowess of Uruguay, because Uruguay is a good team as well, very good team with good strikers, good defenders, good midfielders. Do you think Ghana can do it?
Yes. I think Ghana can do it. All they need is a point. A point if South Korea don't get a big victory against Portugal, which I think is not going to. I don't think it's going to happen. So Ghana, and if they play for a point, towards the end of the game, the Uruguayans can get very desperate and start pouring bodies forward, which can allow a counter attack and then give Ghana the win. So I think Ghana will do it, but they have to just play a very patient and methodological game to be careful not to expose the back, because a draw could be vital for them as well. So they have to just be careful in those moments. Towards the end of the game, around the 70th minute, we are going to see the Uruguay. If the game is still level, you will see the Uruguayans getting desperate, trying to push bodies forward to get the goal to win the game, and that could lead to a counter-attacking goal for the Ghanaians. So I think they can do it, but they shouldn't play for revenge. They should play to get to the round of 16. You understand? They should play to get to not revenge. If they play for revenge, it could be very risky because you're going to see people play with so much anger in them. They could get red cards. Things can happen. You could lose your discipline. You could lose your concentration if you are playing for revenge. You calm down, be patient in the game, play something very systematical, play very gently. Just play in a very mature manner, a mature professional game, and just wait for the Uruguayans to lose their cool and try to force the issue, and then you can go on the counter attack. That's what I would say. But I think they will do it. I think Odoado will recognize the things I've just said, and they will go that way.
I tell you, one of the things that I really love about the Ghanaians is that midfield. That midfield of Mohamed Kudus. Kudus, oh my God, what a player!
Kudus has been
what a player.
One of the best players at the World Cup so far.
Absolutely. Okay, so now it's time to stick our necks out. Max, we know the fixture that is coming on Sunday. I'm here wearing 1.5 hats. I work for the Football Association in England, so I'm not going to attend this game. Senegal versus England. I'll watch it. I know where my heart is. I was listening to Jamie Redknapp yesterday saying, oh, England don't have anything to worry about. We know Senegal have a good team, a strong team, physical, this and that, but England shouldn't worry. Should England actually be worried about Senegal?
Yes, I think they should be worried about Senegal because, like explained to you earlier, Senegal is a type of culture that you don't touch them. Like, you don't tell them, you don't minimize them. You have to, yesterday I read somewhere that I think is John Terry saying England has 99% and Senegal 1%. That's the message. Alice said did not say nothing in the changing room there. He gonna copy that and put it on the wall, and the Senegalese will do the rest. Senegal, I'm nervous with Senegal when we think he's a favorite. But if he come as an underdog, be careful. I think England must be very careful. And this is going to be for Senegal as well. Mark my word.
I believe so too. I actually
Yes.
think so. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to have
Listen, Niran, I think, or Moran was saying about the big coaches. I don't think Southgate is he's very big coaches. I don't see any way that he do big coaches in any other teams. And also, Senegal have a lot to prove. Remember, in this World Cup, those who are not doing well at the beginning, they will be showing a lot in the next. That's why I believe Senegal, we're gonna win England, even though me and you are living in England. But I think Senegal gonna make it.
Sunday will be a great day then. I'm looking forward.
I will be waiting for you in Qatar.
Yes.
For the semi-final. I'm not talking about quarterfinal, for the semi-final.
I will be in Qatar. I will be in Qatar. Farid, we're looking forward to seeing more than one African nation, not anymore talking about the round of 16. We deserve better. We're bigger than that. We're better than that. And Farid, I think Morocco should be able to make it also to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Do you share that belief with me?
Yes, of course I share it, because we have the skills, and we now living and playing without any pressure. You know, Mr. Regragui, the coach, he's already done the job. He has done the job just to create this team atmosphere and environment. He has done the job. So for him, whatever it will be in the next game is already satisfied, and everybody will be satisfied from him. And the missing point they had, and they had it today in the game, it was they were under pressure. They were afraid of losing the game, and so my point is that when they were scoring 2-0, they should put the third goal. If they have put the third goal, they will be playing more relaxed. So I think that the next game will be also for me a formality. There will not be any problem, and they will win, and they will go to quarterfinal, and maybe more, because they have the skills and the team. So I hope that they will go to the quarterfinal minimum.
Right. This is how much we have got physical time for at the moment. It's been a wonderful show, and it's a lot more cheerful than the very first one, when no team scored. Only Ghana scored 2 goals in the first 5 games involving the 5 African nations. And we were here thinking, oh God, are we going back the way of Russia as well, the way it was? But thankfully, these boys turned up. And we have to say congratulations to all the 5 teams from Africa that have done us proud in Qatar at the moment. So in fact, if it ends tomorrow, I think we have availed ourselves very, very well, much better than we did in Russia 4 years ago. So it's been a very great pleasure doing this on the back of AFSCON, the Africa Football Scouts and Coaches Association. This association that I keep saying, and I repeat it like a broken record, we are here to actually preserve and conserve the identity and the respect and credibility of African coaches and scouts at the highest level in Africa by Africans. Listen, if you want to join, if you aspire to be a scout, if you want to be a coach, send an email. It's there on the bottom of your screen. join@afscon.com. That's it. It's as simple as that. You'll be in, and we'll open up doors of opportunity, windows of opportunity for you to work within the coach field in Africa by African teams and African clubs as we grow. And we'll get there in terms of certification, in terms of qualification and all that. And that brings me to the very, very, very last point. And I want your comments in 30 seconds. I want your comments on the appointment of Kolo Toure, an absolute legend of the game in Africa, representing us as Africans, the very first African to be given the high-level manager's job in a championship team in England. Let me start with Nero. 30 seconds.
Well, I said it earlier. It's a very, very welcome development, welcome news for me. I'm delighted for it. And it's just beginning, but I hope that it does well. I hope that he's able to bring them up, at least a division up, and we'll see where it goes from there. I'm just delighted, and I think it will open doors because there's a difference between a Patrick Vieira being a coach, because Patrick Vieira is French, he's a French guy, more or less. But Kolo Toure is purely African, 100% African, and for him to have gotten that job is a very, very, very massive development. Hopefully, he does well. He can get Wigan up maybe in a couple of years, and we can see what that will open new doors for all the other African coaches trying to get the top jobs around Europe.
I don't know if I'm overreacting, but I'm buzzing here. I'm absolutely over the moon for the fact that I belong to the Inclusions Advisory Group, which is about diversity and inclusivity of Black and ethnic minorities in offering them opportunities in the Football Association. I'm a member of the board of the Hampshire Football Association that represents the FA, that represents the IAG. We call them the Inclusion Advisory Group, which focus for Black people in the community and giving them an opportunity in the Football Association, in the coaching world. So this is a very big victory as far as I'm concerned. I don't even know what he's going to do as a coach. I know what he did at Leicester. I don't know how successful he's going to. I give kudos to Wigan Athletic as well for actually being brave and bold enough to actually go on there and say, we employ him, because it would have taken a lot of guts. You know, when you read the stories that come from various clubs and various parts of England, Max, I'm sure you know, the CVs, the number of Black African coaches that actually manage to get interviewed for jobs is probably 0.000 whatever percent. They don't even give them a chance. It's not like if we don't apply, but they don't give the coaches a chance. Once they see the name and they see that he's of African origin, it doesn't look good. So Wigan did well for being bold and brave enough to actually employ this guy. And we wish him well. We will give him every support from AFCON's perspective that we can to actually make sure that he succeeds. But Max, tell us, how do you feel when you heard about this story about Kolo Toure, and what do you think it does for the confidence of the African coach back in Africa and in diaspora where you and I live?
Yes, when I think you sent me the news, I was very grateful and very, very, very excited and happy for that. But maybe in the English speaking country, they're just getting this news. But if you go on the other part, we've got Mailei, which is pure Senegalese coach, used to play in Belgium, that be a coach. We have Omar Daf. He was in the 2002 Senegalese scout, coaching big teams in French football. I think is England now just start to bring up an African coach. Thank you very much. We get it from Kolo Toure, which have done a lot in Arsenal, also in Leicester. It's just, I think this is our job. I think our association, this is the job that we have to do. We have to write our own history. We have to have a book. If we get this book and put our ideas together and teach our future coaches, mark my word, they will be coaching in all around the world, you name it. But we need our own book to show our international coaches. But thank you very much for Kolo Toure, and then we hope other Africans will push hard to get this job. If it's about CVs, we all have CVs, we all have links, but there is something over there that we don't know what's there, and that's going to be the decree one day.
Yeah, and Farid, obviously, you've developed apps, you've developed software products. You're constantly working on your software that I'm sure we'll be able to showcase on our show in the future. But some of the things that you do are going to be the things that would help future coaches. We would actually be visiting you and taking some of our young aspiring coaches to come to Morocco to come and learn the trade, so that not only are we saying we want to build coach, we want to give them certificates and make them look good, we actually want to give them practical knowledge, practical ability, and that's the kind of thing that you offered, isn't it?
Yes. First, congratulations to Kolo Toure's nomination. It's a great success for all of us and for Africa. And in fact, yes, you're right. With the app we are developing, we are trying also to help the coaching and the scouting to work on datas, because it's important that we make data analysis. We are not just getting a coach in the mentality or in the way of coaching. Today, data analytic is really important, and we are now in discussion with an English company managed by a Tunisian guy. Is called Real Analytics. They are already working with, I think, 30 or 40% of Premier League clubs in data analysis. And this guy from Tunisia was really happy to say that this app is made for the young players, amateur players, and that from the beginning, we will be able to analyze the data from the young players, not only the professional one. So we'll try to get the technology helping the coaching and the scouting. That will be the future of our application. And of course, you will be most welcome to come to Morocco to see how in local market, how we are playing, how the coach are being trained and how they are working. So welcome. And if I can conclude, the nomination of Kolo Toure is just the beginning. In Europe, there is the problem that people are skilled, African people are skilled, but European people, they don't want to give them the keys of managing a group, an organization, a company, a club. So that's a good point for Kolo Toure. And I know that most people, other coaches are coming. If I talk about Emers Faye, the former Ivorian player in the time of Kolo Toure and Didier Drogba. So now Emers Faye was the coach of under 19 in the club of Nice, first division. Unfortunately, he got some troubles with the president and with the club and so and so. But now he's the assistant coach of national team of Ivory Coast. And I hope for him that he will be the next also coach for a big club in France or in Europe or otherwise in the UK. So that's my point.
Okay. Now, I want to say thank you very much to everybody. Moron, I thank you for having joined us today. It's been great having you here. And we want to, whatever happens tomorrow after Cameroon, Brazil, we want to be able to come back here with you to say congratulations that at least Cameroon put in something different, something better, and we can see a future for Cameroonian football, for African football. Niran, my able director, thank you so very much. As always, I'm grateful. Max, congratulations again. I hope you have a good time where you are and that we will be able to stay in touch and wish ourselves even better luck as we go along in the match against England. I'm going to get ready and watch and do opposition scouting on behalf of Farid and see whether it's going to be Japan or I'm going to have two screens in front of me, watching Japan on one screen and watching Germany on the other screen and trying to tell him. And I'm going to tell you, Farid, who I think we should be playing when the round of 16 games happen. But all in all, I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We overshot our time, but it just doesn't feel like it. It's been an hour plus. but it didn't feel like it because it's been very interesting. It's going to get better as we go along. Don't forget, join AFCON. To join AFCON, just send an email to join@afcon.com. But don't also forget that you can follow us on Twitter. On Twitter, it's @AFCON. Very simple. And spread the word. Spread the word to your network of people. Let the world know what AFCON is all about. And finally, this YouTube channel that has brought you 4 handsome faces plus me, 4 handsome faces plus 1 not so handsome, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel, AFCON AFC on YouTube. And let's build the network. Let's build the buzz. Let's build the noise. And let's make Africa proud. Thank you very much, everyone. And I'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Farid. Thank you.
Thank you.